Back for more. Okay, well then let's do it. Taking a look here at our new episode of SMRN's The Weekly Spin, right? If you're here right when this releases, you know, I've been kind of a busy guy. Been looking at a lot of Ghost Xfinity series content, and we've been behind here on the channel with content, and I just want to make sure that one, we here on our end are doing what's expected of us, right? Previewing this league in depth with some great conversations, and also giving you the fans something to watch for in anticipation of when drivers go out there and race. And so again, my name is Zach, and just for for now, I guess it's just me doing SMRN coverage. Again, with David's schedule, it's kind of hard to get both people on the same schedule. But regardless, I've tinkered around with a couple things for this episode of what will be kind of a homage to something we used to do on this channel, which we used to run pre-race and post-race shows, and kind of got away from that model. It was just a lot of work, but I love Dover, and I cannot wait to, after the Cup side tonight, kind of relax by turning on SRM's coverage of Ghost Xfinity Series action at Dover. And my hope is that these guys put on a great and patient race, right, with a racetrack that has proven over the years to be one that is tricky and definitely will, eat up and spit out even the best drivers when not expecting what's in front of them. And that's part of what I want to do for the drivers tonight as you anticipate a Dover race. And we're going to talk about a few different things up here on the screen. Just some things to watch for our time together at Dover. If you're a fan or if you're a driver, when you're getting ready to watch these Xfinity Series cars try to tame Miles the Monster. So things to watch for tonight: different surface, different issues. What does that mean? Well, we move away from asphalt and go over to what can be a tricky confine of concrete. And when I think of Dover, this is the image that I think of right away. It is those long sweeping turns, but as you can see here on the racetrack, that rubber is already worn into the surface. You can see as the race goes on where your safety valve is, because this is a look from turn 1 going into turn 2. We can tell that because of the over arch, what do you call that, a bridge or an archway on the exit of turn 2, which we're going to talk about here in a moment. But where all of that gray strip is, if you're a viewer and you happen to see your driver on the top side of that gray strip, I would, from my personal experience, I would start praying because they're in trouble. Anywhere above that cushion is extremely dangerous for drivers here at Dover, where they push the limits and oftentimes get eaten up. Now, you might be wondering, okay, what in the world is he talking about? Well, I'm going to show that to you right now. So let's take a look at the surface and how that interacts with this track, because in my opinion, this track deserves respect. This track deserves a lot of coverage, right, in a pre-race show, in the broadcast before the race, because this is one of the more challenging racetracks that these drivers will go to during the Xfinity Series season. And if you take a look here with me, you can see just how aggressive this banking is coming off of turn 2. And if you are a driver in an Xfinity Series car, you want to be able to really wrap the bottom of this racetrack. Don't get too far down, because that dark gray apron will certainly spin cars around right away. However, the concrete surface provides a whole new challenge for these drivers, and I want to address for the viewer, and I want to address as a driver. And my hope is that we can view this race with some acknowledgement that it will be hard. I guarantee you there's going to be cautions in this one tonight, just because this track is one of the more challenging. When racing on concrete versus racing on asphalt, sometimes the driver really feels hunkered onto, into the pavement, especially when you're on an asphalt, which we talk about a lot with the cookie cutter tracks of NASCAR. And the reason being is because the rough surface of the asphalt, the rubber tire in and of itself can find those places. I'm trying to visualize this for you, but the rubber tire can kind of grip onto, or into rather, the asphalt and find those gaps, how the asphalt is laid down, and that provides grip for the car, right? When we talk about concrete, though, those pores on the racing surface are considerably less, and when drivers don't have those porous surfaces like an asphalt and transition onto surfaces like wetted dirt or concrete, the ability for the tire to sink into the earth, grip onto the earth beneath it, is extremely limited. And that's why concrete racetracks are so difficult to race. They're so different than what a driver will go through at any different point in the season, just because the racing surface is not what they're used to. It's not completely foreign to these vehicles. Of course, NASCAR's been racing at Dover for a long, long time. But rather, the balance of the race car dramatically changes throughout the run. You have significantly less grip as the tires go on because you didn't start with a whole lot of grip to begin with. And as we carry on out of corners like turn 2, that wall with that safer barrier gets closer and closer to the race car. I'm excited to see how these drivers really try to tackle this surface in many different ways. A final picture for you as we take a look at this surface looks like this. Approaching the start-finish line is going to be vital to how this race plays out tonight. Nearly every race that I have watched on iRacing comes to Dover, and at some point there is a strategy deviation. You can be in Cup cars, you can be in Xfinity cars, or ARCA cars, or trucks, or whatever. At some point, people are going to get off of pit cycle to gain track position. And vice versa. Some people won't pit at any given time to gain track position through the field. Approaching that flag stand is arguably the most important thing these drivers are going to wind up doing tonight. Too many times have I seen Dover races where drivers underestimate how tricky concrete can be and spin out from the lead, taking out the entire field. My hope is that these Xfinity drivers know that before they go into this race, and they respect the track, understand, this is a big thing, understand who around you is on older tires, especially on restarts, and you manage that time together with patience and grace, because most likely those drivers that are going to start on older stuff will not get going. Even to the point where they just might wreck out all by themselves, and you're on high alert to just try to get around them. So, all in all, we have that to deal with. But if you take a look on this page, there's something very interesting. Did you catch it? The driver part of pit road, where you venture down and you make your way down to the pit stall, is not the same surface as either the track or the pit stall that these drivers are going to find themselves in. So if you're a fan tonight and you go, my driver lost a lot of spots on pit road, what in the world happened to them? I'm willing to bet one of two things happened. One, they either sped down pit road, which can happen at any track, but especially Dover, because pit entrance is so aggressive with these high banked corners. Or something sneaky came up when it came to the track surface that maybe these drivers haven't really thought about. When you put on the brakes and getting onto pit road, you are on a different surface than the concrete you were just racing on. And I don't care if you are the 6th spot on pit road or the 36th spot on pit road. Drivers tend to forget that I'm racing on a different surface at 35, 40 miles an hour than what I just was on the racetrack. And so my brakes and my tires interact with this surface differently than when I leave on the racetrack, which can cause spins, or when I pull into my pit stall. You can take a look here at the screen. The pit stall is that concrete. It's that cream-colored concrete surface. Drivers tonight most certainly will slide through their pit stall in anticipation that their car will stop quicker than what it actually will. Because when the transition happens from driving down on pit road, making your way 3, 2, 1 into your pit stall, you're on the brakes already. Well, your brake is going to act a lot different driving down pit road versus as soon as the tires hit that concrete and make your way into the pit stall. That also affects launch times after you leave pit road. So there's so many nuances that come with track surface that will definitely cause issues for these drivers as we continue to observe them throughout this race. And it's worth noting just to take a look at this track and go, wow, just that simple change of what's underneath the drivers has the power to really derail any given driver at any point in time, right? So all these drivers tonight are going to have to bring their A game here to Dover. Another thing to take a look at is that tires make a huge difference here, and that is because we see often how the start of the run, you don't really have a whole lot of grip to begin with. Again, different surface, different issues. Concrete, especially the ones at Dover, require a lot of right front usage. And in these Xfinity cars, I'm very curious to know, because I myself have not raced Xfinity here, I'm curious to know how the right front wears on these Xfinity rides as the load comes off of that long sweeping front stretch, up a hill, down into the corner. Every time you're going to watch these cars go around the track tonight on SRM, you're going to see vehicles come down a hill and then up another hill. That puts a tremendous load on that right front. And now how aggressive the drivers manage their line into the corner is going to determine their urgency for tires. You might be able to go 40 laps, 35 laps, given what they're racing tonight on gas. You probably don't want to race on tires that long. Nearly every Dover race I've observed or I've been in personally, drivers often undercut and swap out for new tires. Again, tire sets are going to be a big talking point tonight. These guys are going to have to manage what they got on pit road and strategize. Hey, what happens if there's multiple wrecks towards the end of this thing? How late in this game can I pit and give myself enough time to make my way back up through the field? All of these things are going to be things that drivers strategize about. Maybe you as fans can attach to as the day wears on sim racing media. I haven't done a winner prediction on this channel in quite some time, and there's a reason for that. It's because Jeffrey Radke is the one that continues to win and does so in a fashion that makes it kind of hard to dispute him any other way. However, I'm going to do it this week just because I'm going to go out on a limb and trust what I saw last week out of this driver in this Xfinity Series race. If you've watched our mid-season glance video, you know that Ricky Gonzalez joined this league last week, and he is making some serious noise, finishing just short of his first win in the Ghost Xfinity Series action, and now looks to rebound here at a track that I know I've raced with him before that Ricky is good at. Maybe not in this car, right? We might be getting here and Ricky struggles, but know that he's the kind of driver that really does understand all of these things we've talked about: being patient with the racing surface, being patient on and off pit road, and understanding that tires make a huge difference here from situation to situation. Look out for Ricky Gonzalez to make some serious noise tonight and maybe, just maybe, pull up the upset and get some drama going here in Ghost Xfinity Series action. Well, this is it. This is it. I'm done. I'm done with videos for today. But I hope that you've enjoyed this solo act here for SMRN, and I hope that you tune in to this awesome series and you're able to root on and attach to some of these great Xfinity Series racers that are competing hard for a championship. I know I will be. As soon as I'm done with Ghost Series Cup action, I'm gonna turn on my phone, log on to SRM, and root on some of these drivers, some of these underdogs, maybe for a big time upset at Dover this week. Until we meet again, my name is Zach, and just remember to keep on racing.